Number 1. Buckingham Palace. Built in 1703, it passed into royal hands in 1761 when George III bought the palace for his wife, Queen Charlotte. Back then, George paid £21,000 for the palace. In 1837, Queen Victoria became the first monarch to call Buckingham Palace her official residence. It remains the official residence of the reigning monarch and administrative headquarters for Queen Elizabeth II. Anyone wishing to see the ceremony of changing of the guards, this occurs just outside Buckingham Palace at 10:45 daily, and it typically lasts around 45 minutes. For those actually wanting to see the actual handover between the guards, this occurs at 11 AM. Number 2. Houses of Parliament and Big Ben. The Houses of Parliament are without doubt one of the most famous spots in London, as well as the seat of the UK government. Once better known as the Palace of Westminster after it was built during the 11th century, the main building here was once a large royal palace. This original structure was badly damaged by a fire in 1512, and then completely destroyed by a subsequent fire in 1834. After this damage, it was replaced with a more robust structure. Despite being largely rebuilt, there are a few parts of the Houses of Parliament which retain their medieval credentials. These include Westminster Hall, the Chapel of St Mary Undercroft, the Jewel Tower and the Cloisters of St Stephen's, all of which are now the oldest part of the structure. One of the most important parts of the Houses of Parliament is its large clock, known as Big Ben. The clock is located in the Elizabeth Click Tower and remains amongst London's most famous sights. Number 3. London Eye. Built on the 9th of March 2000, following a Millennium competition in which husband and wife team David Marks and Julia Barfield came up with the idea for the Eye in response to a 1993 competition asking Londoners to design a new landmark celebrating the Millennium. At 443 feet high, the London Eye is currently the 4th largest Ferris wheel in the world. A ride on the Eye will take around 30 minutes and it travels at a speed of 0.6 miles per hour. The Eye has 32 capsules, one for each of the city's 32 boroughs, but they're numbered from 1 to 33. There is no capsule 13. The car skips from number 12 to number 14. Number 4. Tower Bridge. Tower Bridge might be London's most famous bridge, but it's not London Bridge. London Bridge is a bit further upriver and is pretty plain in comparison. The City of London Corporation held a competition for the design of a new bridge to help Londoners travel between the two sides of the Thames in 1876. In 1884, the design submitted by architects Sir Horace Jones and civil engineer Sir John Wolfe Barry was picked. The two sections in the central span are called bascules, and they raise up to an angle of 83 degrees. The bascule chamber is a huge cavern underneath the bridge in which the counterweights swing to operate the bridge. When Tower Bridge first opened, it used to be powered by coal-burning steam engines, but these were replaced by a combination of electricity and oil in the 1970s. Number 5. The Tower of London. The Tower of London's official title is Her Majesty's Royal Palace and Fortress of the Tower of London. The ravens that reside at the Tower of London are famed for being the guardians of the tower. Charles II is widely believed to have been the first royal to insist that the ravens must stay put and not leave. It's said that the kingdom and the Tower of London will fall if the tower is ever abandoned by its resident ravens. One of the oldest military rituals remaining is the ceremony of the keys. This historic tradition of locking up the gates at the tower has taken place every single day in London for over 700 years. The crown jewels have been locked away in the Tower of London ever since the 1600s. Crowns, robes and jewellery are amongst the memorabilia that has been held at the tower, and when a new king or queen is crowned, the items are carefully guarded and sent to Westminster Abbey for the coronation. The tower is said to be very haunted. Number 6. Westminster Abbey. When the abbey was founded by monks in 960 AD, It existed on a small island on the Thames called Thorney Island. Its elevations and firm foundations provided the perfect location to build an abbey and the Palace of Westminster. The island no longer exists, although it has provided the name for Thorney Street in Westminster, now home to MI5. Westminster Abbey holds the only surviving Anglo-Saxon door in this country, dating from around 1050. In the 19th century, it was noticed that there were fragments of hide covering the door. Theories pointed to a robbery in 1303, proposing that the skin of convicted felons was nailed to the door as a deterrent. It seems more likely that these hides were taken from cows and added to provide a smooth decorative surface. Between 1540 and 1556 it was a cathedral, and around 1560 Elizabeth I awarded it the status of Royal Peculiar, making it a church directly responsible to the sovereign rather than to the Church of England bishop. There are over 3,500 people buried in the abbey, with over 450 tombs and monuments. For several hundred years, anyone could be buried there for a fee. If you've liked this video, would you please subscribe, like and share? Thank you.